What's going on, everybody? We are back for yet another episode of the Multiverse Experience Podcast. As per usual, I am your host, Steven, aka The Economistic on Twitter, or X, whichever you like. Nonetheless, as you can see by the title of the video as well as the thumbnail, we are going to be sharing a conversation today with King James, King Jimmy C. St. James. You may know him from Twitter for all of his videos on EGLD, the Dare to Believe, the healing process, all that good stuff we're going to be getting into in just a moment here. And I just wanted to say thank you to James for everything that you've done for the people that follow you as well as the EGLD community. I'm really excited to share this conversation, which definitely divulges a bit from some of the other guests that I've had on the show this season, but I can tell you that it's going to be worth every minute of your time. And King James, St. James, will be at Bucharest at X Day in just a couple weeks now. So this video is really just going to focus on this conversation I share with James as almost a special. You'll find in the video that we label it The Healing Journey Part 2. You'll hear more about James's story in our conversation. But this will be, rather than an episode 3, this will be kind of a healing journey part 2, as we kind of discuss in the video. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to check back on previous videos, the previous episode was with Serenation. He shared a lot of interesting perspectives, a little bit more bearish on crypto, Web3, and where we are in the process of bull versus a bear market. And the season opener of season 2 was with Div X-Man, who just really unloaded traditional thoughts as well as cryptocurrency thoughts on the market, and Div is a little bit more bullish, similar to me. So check out the two last videos, a little bit differing perspectives. The first one from Div being bullish and Serenation is a little bit bearish. So this third guest appearance from St. James is really something special, and I'm excited to share it with you. Not many things I'm going to get into according to the multiverse ecosystem. I will be continuing with that once we get back for proper episode 3, but I just wanted to get this episode out so that y'all can participate and hear all of the thoughts and conversation that we shared. So go ahead, drop a like and comment on the video after the conversation. Let me know, let us know what you loved about it, what your favorite parts were. Feel free to respond to some of the conversations that we had, because like I said, some of these items were not so much in line with the previous conversation that were very much about regulation and how did you get into crypto and what are your thoughts on it and what are the opportunities. You'll see in the conversation that James and I are just sharing space, sharing time, energy, thoughts together, and like I said, I'm very excited to share it with you. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it, let you get into the conversation with us. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, drop a like, drop a comment, and make sure to thank James on Twitter for his time and thoughts in this episode. Give him a follow. Dropped a link to his profile as well as the Dare to Believe video that we talk about in the conversation. So thank you again for watching, and this will be it until I see you for the next episode, which might happen next week, but might be about 1 to 2 weeks out. So thanks again for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you in just a moment. What's going on, everybody? As you can see on your freaking screen, I am with a legend, a true legend, and here we got St. James on the Multiverse Experience Podcast at King Jimmy C, a true legend, the probably top EGLD influencer who's been here. I don't know, let's start off with that question. How long have you been influencing on EGLD, my friend?
Okay, since I got out of the hospital, which was, what happened on August 4th, 2018 is when I was attacked.
Mm-hmm.
That was 4 months in the hospital, then to St. Louis, then to LA. Then I was like non-existent for a long time. Then I saw Elrond Dare to Believe. Boom, instantly back to social media after that video on YouTube. And I was a ghost. Nobody knew who I was, no followers. And of course it was like to Facebook first, but I started getting my memories back that I was the most famous guy in Los Angeles because of the party scene. And then I got my memory back that it used to be a lot of Columbia drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And you could track your location down with Facebook. So we don't know who attacked me. So I deleted Facebook because of the CEO of Facebook. And also, a lot of people in Europe, which happens to be EGLD, is big in Europe. A lot of people don't like Facebook. So I deleted Facebook, but this all starts with dare to believe we can change the course of history. And I believe that the reason I'm alive is to change the course of history, which people like you and I have already done that, Stephen.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen, I believe the reason we're talking is you are one of the best YouTube channels.
Thanks,
no
thanks.
different than Elrond Dare to Believe, because look at your views. Look at your background. Your background is so beautiful. Your smile, your hair.
Get out of here.
Why is it that the best commercial I've seen since the iPhone has a low amount of views? And why is it the best YouTube channel has a low amount of views?
Dude, that's a good question. Well, there's a lot that I could comment off of that introduction, but I just want to firstly and just say thank you for being on the show. It's a lot of fun to finally just chat with you after all of the banter we've shared over the years on Twitter, or I guess X it's now called, right? But yeah, like, how are you doing? Like, how would you describe yourself beyond, this influencer? I mean, you post videos nearly every day, and I watch them. I mean, I won't lie, I don't watch them all, but every time I watch your videos, I'm just amazed at your wisdom, your level of thought. And we definitely relate on a lot of levels in terms of how we kind of view the opportunity that crypto is, the crypto revolution, dare to believe. My header on X, or formerly Twitter, it still feels weird calling it just X. But my header on Twitter has always been dare to be different. And I feel like you and I really kind of encapsulate this idea of, like, the world, the life that we live is not as long as it will be at the end. So we got to make a difference while we have the chance.
I love what you just said, dare to be different.
Yeah.
The funny thing is I'm no longer choosing to be different. I have been different my whole life because I've been doing this thing called fit into what is called normal.
Yeah.
I am choosing no longer to be normal. I am choosing to operate based on who I am born to be.
Yeah.
Based on my DNA code. Now, if we were to analyze my DNA code, you're going to talk about one of the most complicated pieces of information.
Absolutely.
Now, I believe that my DNA code and your DNA code is a piece of the universe, or a piece of God, or a piece of goddess, or Allah, or like all of it. I mean, there's a lot of different words for God or the universe, because I don't want to leave any of the pieces of people in our global audience out.
Totally.
Whether it's the Zen master who taught Michael Jordan how to be the best athlete, which comes from Buddhism, or Andrew Tate, who's doing Islam. Why limit ourselves to billions of people, since, like, that's what we're doing with cryptocurrency, is a global audience.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, man. Just like the idea of how unique every single individual is. Like, not only is that piece of DNA extraordinarily unique to us, but so is the environment surrounding that, deep within DNA, because you have the DNA, right? It's basically the body that we're in, but then we have our families, our siblings, our friends, our our culture that we grew up in, where we grew up. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I totally agree with you. The idea of dare to be different, that to me sometimes does need to be an active decision. If I realize that I either feel socially anxious or like I'm trying to fit in, as I get older, these feelings get farther behind me. But these days, 100%, I take great pride in who I am and what makes me unique. And therefore, I mean, I view other people in that same sort of light. I view you, James, in that same sort of light. And clearly you're already on board with the whole motif. But yeah, I mean, you are a special human being, and you mentioned a little bit about the kind of the brain trauma that you went through, and I'm curious if you feel as though that whole ordeal and who it made you to be right here and now. How do you deal with that looking back on your life before that serious event took place? And clearly, it seems like you're doing incredibly. It seems like no pauses. You just keep on pushing through life. But how are you these days? I mean, it sounds like you're always working, always accumulating more e-gold and so forth. But yeah, how do you view your life in terms of where you got your starts, some of the serious moments that shaped who you are today?
Okay, so when I was attacked, I got hit in the head. Um, I did clinically die. Now, because of the drugs I was using for a long amount of my time, it takes my memory away. Because of my childhood and the way I was raised, I come from a family that struggles with memories anyways. So that's also in my DNA code, is to struggle with memories. So on top of that, with the drug uses, the TBI, everything. So I came back without a memory of the near-death experience. So I am, oh, what a cool freaking coffee cup. So
Yeah, I
then,
got this at X Day last year. It's
wow,
backwards because it's
France.
flipped, but obviously that's
Wow.
Multiverse X.
Yeah. So I'm watching YouTube on the healing journey. So I'm on the healing journey, which hopefully we can meet some filmmakers. We can use this clip as an episode for a documentary, and we can give this to Netflix. We could turn you into a producer, and we could sell this to Netflix, what we're doing right now. So
I'm
save
down.
this footage,
Of
because it's
course.
called
I got you. The healing
so
journey.
this is called the healing journey. I've been working on the healing journey since I was 25, diagnosed with borderline, which I'll get a brain scan. We'll take the brain scan and incorporate this and show that Dr. Joe Dispenza shows with meditation, you can heal yourself from a mental illness, which in the 1960s, we don't say mental illness, we say mental wellness. And we can breathe in the love and breathe out the problems. But I'm listening to these people that talk about dying and coming back to life. They all have memories. And I'm like, holy cow. When I was in the hospital, I felt the feelings. So no memories, but feelings that I left my body.
Yeah.
That is the only memories I had, is I know I went somewhere. And I spent 2+ years figuring out where I went. And I saw this one video of a guy who was dead for like 2.5 hours, clinically dead, no heartbeat, clinically dead for 2.5 hours. And he's telling this story. Man, I can't even remember the story, but he's telling a story. And it was beautiful and it was amazing. And the human brain is the most advanced piece of technology on our earth. AI is close to as advanced as you and I. But the near-death experience is already scientifically evidenced. There's people on YouTube right now who are like, yeah, there is an afterlife. Afterlife is science. It's no longer this like reincarnation is Eastern philosophy. It's not a philosophy anymore. We know scientifically there's an afterlife. We know there's reincarnation. So I have been talking this way for like over a year and a half. And it is just newly discovered for me that I'm not talking out my ass. I'm not talking about fucking Eastern philosophy. I'm talking about like, I'm going to Bucharest, Romania, as I've already changed the world. I'm going there to party. I'm going there to celebrate that we did the work already. And I'm here to celebrate with you in my garden. And you're time traveling. Look, you're time traveling. You're in West Hollywood right now. Come on, Steven. You did the work. You're the best channel on YouTube. You did it, my friend. You did it.
That's sick, man. Seriously, I mean, your philosophy of life is really inspiring. And so what can you tell everybody about your rise to fame? I don't know if you would really describe it as fame, but as an influencer for EGLD, now, then Elrond Network, now Multiverse X, what was that like for you to go, as you said, kind of earlier on in the conversation, you started on Twitter as a nobody, and then slowly but surely, I mean, you're now sitting at about 10,000 followers. And I'm curious how that was for somebody like you to, go from a nobody on Twitter to now you have not just a following, but everybody who kind of watches your videos, they engage and they really kind of understand what you're putting out and want to engage and feel encouraged by what who you are. So how was that? How did you kind of understand how you could kind of grow an audience, and how did you feel about that once it started to take shape?
Yeah, let's talk about the word fame. So Miles here, I met Miles when I was 25. I was a background actor, and I was like doing movie after movie after movie. My face was never in the movie because I'm a background actor, and I was with Russell Brand and like I don't know, tons of other famous people. A lot of them stopped being actors. Miles was building his social media fame. Now, when I went to film school, I learned that live painters never made money and they made the best live paintings. And to this day, we know who the most famous live painters are, but they died and they never made any money. Miles is more famous than me in social media, but me living in West Hollywood still, I'm more famous than Miles, but not on social media. So, like, let's break it down about what the word fame means. Am
Sure.
I more famous than Miles? No, because people use social media to judge my fame. But Miles doesn't live in Hollywood. Miles has to sell art to keep going. I don't have to sell art to keep going. I can stop working anytime I want. I don't need to work. I already have all my bills paid regardless of crypto. I live with Sean Kristen. Sean Kristen is the only one that needs to work. I work because I want to work. I like building things. I need to do something with my time because I freak the fuck out when I don't have anything to do with my time. I have no friends. Friends, what we're doing right now, Steven, is you're blessing me with this thing called time. You know who else blesses me with time is Arc. Arc shows up every morning and gives me money, like passive income every
Your
morning.
ego
And
staking.
they didn't block
Yeah.
me. They didn't block me, even though I was like causing drama with the CEO of MultiverseX.
Yeah.
And so the thing is here's another artist that I've worked with. I've been doing this thing. This artist right here, he's not making it as an artist. He could come spend some more time with me and I could help him make some more money, but he doesn't want to take the time to spend with me like with what you're doing, Steven. Because Steven, if you've got goals and you've got dreams, and like if you want to go to Bucharest, Romania, then you just say right now you want to go to Bucharest, Romania, and we'll find a sponsor and it'll happen. You just speak your dreams and we manifest it.
Well, I do want to go to Bucharest for X Day. I do very much, of course. How could I
Then
not?
we're going. Then like I can chip in to get the X Day ticket. Sounds like we just need to get somebody to help get a plane ticket. And it seems like there's people in California here who could probably chip in and help. I think we all could chip in and help. Just don't be afraid to accept help from other people.
That's a very good point, and that says something about who I am. I mean, as you're referring to, I'm giving you my time, and to me, I love giving people my time, because when people give me their time, they give me their listening ear, they give me responses, question, and conversation, and kind of ignite one another's intelligence. I think that is what really makes the human existence so powerful, is whenever we do get to come together, and through emotion and energetic connection, we find new ways. It's very similar to music, in my opinion, how music can take nothing, obviously frequencies I'm not a physicist, I can't remember how well frequencies can be observed, but I mean they're to the human eye, they're invisible, but they're one of the most powerful, I'll call it just a tools, the frequency, noise, sound, vibration, it's some of the most powerful energy force in the world. So whenever two people come together, it's like, these super unique DNAs, like we were talking about, come together, and it's a melting pot, and it creates newness. And that to me is so exciting. And that's the whole excitement that I have in giving you my time today, is because I know that you have so much, in your world of being. And I'm just happy to be sharing this time with you right now.
Thank you so much. It means so much to me. So the healing journey to me is definitely about making a documentary, which we're doing right now. This documentary ultimately is finished. I have the connections at Netflix. I have the connections at HBO. It's finished when a woman shows up, and a woman does the Notebook 2.0. She shows up and she chooses me and says, "You're the one. I choose you, James." When she chooses me, that's why I've been paying everybody to market my channel. The reason I don't use YouTube, and the reason I'm using Twitter before Elon Musk bought it, and I used meditation to get Elon Musk to buy it, because Elon Musk even backed out of buying it. I'm the one who made Elon Musk buy it, because I need Elon Musk's help to get me a girlfriend, to get me a wife.
Amen. Get over here, Elon. What the heck are you doing, man?
I know. And I'll tell you why I'm alive. I'll tell you exactly why I'm alive, because I was trying to figure out why I didn't die, because I'm born with suicide thoughts inside my DNA. My mom was thinking suicidal thoughts when I was in the womb of her belly. That's what she wanted to do. My mom wanted to die when she was pregnant with me. She told me that recently. So that's new information to me. So I can't heal that, but I can build on top of that, which is like find a way to be happy, because happiness is a choice. So every morning I wake up, the first thing I do is turn music on. So when I died, I got what I wanted, because I did want to die. Suicidal.
Wow. Yeah.
Suicidal. Now, this is how we're going to fix the number one problem on our planet, which is suicide. We're going to fix that. We're going to show people how we can heal suicidal thoughts, because sometimes we can't fix the thought process, but we can fix the feelings, which is the things that are going to make us feel like we want to stay alive, because we're going to feel good. Because when I was in the afterlife, they said to me, "James, we gave you a heart of infinite love, and yet you don't use it. Why don't you use it?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know." Well, if you want to come home, because I was home, heaven, the concept of heaven is the afterlife, where we're from. We're all from the afterlife. We're all are going to heaven. We all get there. We're all going to die. There's no rush. Don't rush it. You'll get there. And we all go there when we sleep. We just wake up and don't remember. So they say, go back to your body and use it, which is like healing Mother Earth, because they're manipulating our consciousness all the time with like COVID, that's totally biological warfare. So I'm here to change the world, which is to prevent suicide, which is to show people how to love again.
Wow.
Which is breathing in the love. Just breathe in the love, and let go of all your problems. It's that easy. Let it go, because I have a heart. I already did change the world before I saw Elrond Dare to Believe, just by staying alive. The only thing I have to do to get Ben to unblock me is show up to the conference and apologize. Apologize for him, telling him I'm tired of being poor, because I've never been poor. I've always had abundance, because abundance is my birthright. I was born wealthy. And every single EGLD person should know they're born wealthy. Once you have a hero tag, you're born into the kingdom of wealth.
Damn. Well, I wanted to go back to what you said just to highlight it, because I thought that it was so illustrative and beautiful. How you said when you were in the afterlife, however you were described it, the beings or the feeling told you or communicated to go back to your body and use it. And I, for one, I don't know if this is, the artistic person within me, what exactly it is, but recently enough, I felt like this extremely powerful kind of energy within me. But I mean, it wasn't the most beautiful thing, because I felt my being on the inside. But you look in the mirror and you have this visual depiction that all humans on the planet really judge each other by the way that we look and the way that we interact and communicate. And to me, is something that I'm working through, in my mid to late 20s, trying to push through and use my body for what I have on the inside, and learning to forget and disregard the reality that's out of my control, that people on the outside will always see me through their lens and have their assumptions, their expectations, and their judgments. And to me recently, that felt very powerful, and it did sadden me, because it made me feel so trapped inside. Like, I've got something within me, but unless you see me kind of expressing through art, is kind of how I do it best, you're going to see me and you're going to hear me and you're going to think that I'm somebody. But there's this soul deep within me that is screaming. And whenever I get upset, I get angry. I think all humans do. Whenever we get hurt, our feelings, or something doesn't go our way, we can control how we interact with that. But for me, I get frustrated like a child. And that to me is a huge area of opportunity for me to improve. And I was really inspired by what you said right there, to use your body. And like, what we're doing right now, it's like, if I just, my little spirit that exists, it doesn't have the ability to move my laptop and to set up my camera and put up these lights in the back. It's like my body works with this energy within. But it's like kind of how they asked you, like, what are you kind of doing, or I forgot however you kind of described it just a moment ago. But you said, I don't know. I don't, do you remember what you were saying about, I don't know how you were using your body, or not using your
Well,
body?
yeah. So you have it figured out, but when I was outside my body, I said to them, I don't know, because they gave me something. They gave it to me. So it's like, also, it's a message to you. You already have everything. And as you're telling a story, you're kind of saying, inside this story, you're kind of saying you don't know, but at the same time, you're saying you do know. So it's like you're kind of flowing. You're flowing, and you're figuring it out as you go.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're figuring out right now?
Me personally?
Yes.
Man, I think I kind of touched on it right in what I was sharing there. What I'm learning right now is how to use my body for good. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's depicted. And I use marijuana medicinally. I'm not gonna pretend that I don't, but the point is, sometimes that medicine does help me to just gain perspective. And recently enough, I was driving in my car, and I had smoked a little bit. I might have to edit this out because it might not look
No,
very good.
don't edit it out. There's nothing wrong. I live in West Hollywood, where like we count it the same as coffee. And there are
Yeah.
people who will argue that coffee is more of a drug than marijuana.
Yeah. Well, the point is that I'm trying to depict this idea that, like, sometimes, whenever something upsets me, I choose anger. And a lot of the time, I'm driving down the road in traffic or something like that, which is so much out of my control. And I'm also just in traffic. I just realized one time, like, how quickly little things can really get under my skin and turn who I feel like I am, this positive light. Truly, like, that's really what I believe about myself. But I can quickly turn into a really disgusting beast of sorts. So that's what I'm trying to learn these days, is, as you said, you wake up, the first thing that you do in the morning is you put on music. And
Yeah.
as an artist, it's almost a negative feedback loop, because whenever I'm in my element, and whenever I'm existing and sharing the love and the joy that I believe I'm on earth to do and to share, whenever I'm not there, whenever I'm actually either upset or I'm angry, it's almost like upsetting to me, because I know, because I've witnessed that life is so much more beautiful and grandiose. And like, I mean, it's so much more whenever life is good and whenever you choose happiness. So
Yes, right there. Let me
yeah,
stop you.
sure.
Okay, develop a breathing technique. Whenever you get angry, hold it in, and breathe. Breathe in the love, and then let the anger out. Because there's no such thing as, nothing is created or destroyed. So that anger isn't going to go away. So what you're doing right now is you're venting it out, which is normal. You're a young man. I vent my anger out all the time. If I get upset, I'm going to fucking get mad. But as I've gotten older, there's a new way of dealing with my anger. I'm no longer going to punch somebody in the face. I've got a breathing technique, and I've really mastered this breathing technique. I was at this music festival, and I did a lot of altered states of consciousness stuff that I'm not going to talk about. I did not do the Columbia stuff because I will never touch that one ever again, because the doctor said I could die if I do that. And since we talked about suicide, I do not want to cause the self-suicide. I want a smooth transition to the next reality, which means I want to live as long as possible. But if I ever get as angry as what you get being a young man, because being a young man, you're really freaking powerful. I'm gonna do a hold back, slow down, breathe.
Yeah.
Especially with traffic. California traffic will fucking get you.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, and it's just like good for us to remind one another of these things. And I recognize it kind of outside of these contexts of anger, because when it comes to performing, I've already mentioned it so many times, but I'm a musician, I'm an artist, and whenever I'm playing any sort of instrument, a lot of people, they get their nerves, and then their nerves kind of remove them from the present moment, and they just really truly forget to breathe. And what is breath? Breath is oxygen, and oxygen fuels our being. So how can you not breathe and expect to maintain composition and brain process whenever you're starving yourself from fuel? So practice makes progress rather than perfect, because perfect is another conversation. But yeah, I mean, these days, that's, I guess, another answer to your question, even though you were reminding me about the importance of breathing. But yes, I mean, something that I am trying to do is breathe. Like I've acknowledged, for years now, that sometimes I literally just forget to breathe. And then, oh my gosh, like I can't think. And then something unexpected happens in the midst of me, not keeping up my breathing, and you lose control. Like quite literally, you lose the ability to function and to think properly. So those are really strong words of advice for anybody watching, and just good reminders for me too. So thank you.
You're welcome. So what if we call this? What if you just call this the Healing Journey 2.0 episode?
I'm down.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if you get the most views in this video. This is going to be a long episode. You kind of always release long episodes, but once you upload this, let me know. I have like an army of people who are going to market this. It's going to probably get 10,000 views.
All right. Well, you put it out there. You're manifesting it, right?
Yep. Well, I also have to do shipping for Biomethod. I mean, Biomethod is the business that I'm moving into after the conference. I'm getting off of TaskRabbit. Biomethod's going to start paying rent, because I am the guy that currently pays rent for Sean, even though I said I don't have to work. Because I choose to work, I'm the guy responsible for the bills. But the staking DeFi system and the Biomethod is going to transition me to where work really is going to become an option.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you. And I want to kind of piggyback off of that idea, because something that really got me into cryptocurrency, blockchain, everything was in 2017. I was studying, and I was learning about how to invest and how to plan for retirement, traditional markets, stocks, bonds, all that, nonsense, respectfully, because when I found blockchain and understood the idea of Bitcoin being a limited supply asset that allows peer-to-peer transactions with no intermediary, no government agency, no banking in between, we get the idea. To me, that was just a no-brainer. And back in 2017, it was definitely this craze of initial coin offerings, which to me, I would call really good ideas that didn't have the technology to support the scalability. But these days, as we've seen with other chains, but considering, just what this podcast is kind of about, MultiverseX, previously Elrond Network, Elrond network, we can see it unfolding before our eyes, that the technology, the novel architecture on the first and foremost layer is unlocking a new reality of for people to use the blockchain technology for new ideas, but also, all right, let's rewind, re-examine what Bitcoin was aiming to kind of heal, we'll just say, because the traditional financial system and world economy to me is extremely sick, which refers to the idea of the love of money being the root of all evil, whether or not you agree with that or disagree with it. But
I mean, I'll give you some of that. I mean, when there's too much love for money, it goes too far out of control. Look at Putin.
Yeah, so the love of money, a lot of people say that money is the root of all evil, but no, it's the love of money if we're referring to the Bible anyway, which I believe that the Bible is full of wisdom. As far as my true beliefs with it, that's something that I'm still searching and discovering for myself. I'm sure that's another conversation that we could spend a lot of time with religion and spirituality.
So yeah, I love them all. Hindu, Buddha, the Bible, Islam,
Yeah.
all of them. I mean, we can't talk about just the Bible. If we're going to bring up the Bible, I'm going to start exploring Judaism, Catholicism, Islam. Yeah. Oh man, we got to be at a group setting, because when you say the word Bible, another person that likes the Bible, I'll leave you two there. Okay, those are Bible people. Okay, see ya.
Yeah, man. Well, the idea of, bringing yourself to a place where you are basically work optional, whether you want to use the retired word or not. Would you just kind of share with us a little bit? You mentioned that Dare to Believe video, which I'll drop a link in the description for anyone who hasn't seen it. But
Smart.
the Dare to
Smart.
Believe video, I remember it as well. It was inspiring, and I've watched it a few times since the first time I watched it. So what can you share with us about your just beginning, your intro to cryptocurrency? Was it that Dare to Believe video, and have you been basically all aboard Elrond network and now MultiverseX ever since?
Yeah, because the one of the clips inside the Dare to Believe was showing face-to-face conversations, which is exactly what you and I are doing. Because a lot of the original forms of the internet was AOL. AOL to Facebook. Facebook was the start of showing your face.
Yeah.
Now I deleted Facebook and switched to Twitter, and Twitter is hiding the face again. But there's been a lot of shift of Twitter of showing the face. Twitter is going through a lot of changing, a lot of shifting, and there's still a lot of people who don't want to show face on Twitter, and they want to protect their privacy. And there's even Elon Musk that is big on protecting privacy. So there's a lot of countries on our planet that are dangerous. So we're doing something bigger than what the American way is. Us Americans are very in the future where we share face. Romania is in the future, but Romania also left Russia. Russia's a little both ways. Kind of Russia's the future, but also very anti-gay. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of things happening simultaneously, depending on which country you're in. And it's all happening at the same time. It's a very difficult conversation. The only way we can have these conversations is if we have music playing. Turn the music on, because also we need to have like food, and we need to have the proper amount of food, because if you come from a certain country, there's a lot of like Islam people are not going to eat pork. I think that's right. I can't remember all the food choices. There's a lot of people that eat vegan. When I was at that music festival, I bought vegan for someone that doesn't eat meat. So it's like the only people that can help provide the cryptocurrency resources in Bucharest, Romania is going to be someone like me. And I believe it's going to be someone like you, because you're from Kansas. So someone like Kansas and living in San Francisco is going to be able to learn, or already knows what I know, because you live in San Francisco. Come on. That's like, I mean, the hippies have been pushed out of San Fran, but come on, that's like Hippie Valley.
Yeah, like, they're still there living in the crevices.
Yeah, we got to get you to Bucharest. So it's like, we're going to show up to Bucharest and change the course of history even bigger, even faster, because if there's any citizens that are going to understand, we already have the guy that saved his son he's already doing the work. I mean, he's ready to be a leader in the multiple different faiths, multiple religions, multiple foods. If you study the history of Romania, Romania has been pushed around by every empire, the Catholic Church, the Russian Empire. They can handle all the different conversation flows. Like this for me is going to be what I've been doing for 15 years of my life. It's not going to be very good for traditional Americans. Traditional Americans are going to have a hard fucking time. Me, I'm going to feel like I'm at home. I'm going to feel like I'm back at a music festival. Okay. Hey, what's up? How's it going? These are my people. What do you want a shot? You want a drink? Okay, I'll buy. Because the best way to stop an argument is to just pay for something.
Yeah, I feel that too. I mean, like last year at X Day, I was much more trying to capture everything as a journalist. Though, I mean, I want to say if I go, or maybe I should just manifest and say when I go, when I see you in Bucharest.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know, I just, yeah, I want to be there respectfully, not as a MultiverseX influencer or as a content creator. Like, I just want to be there and commit my positivity and energy to the whole environment. Now, obviously, I'll be discussing, you know, whatever is announced and what has taken place over the years at MultiverseX, but I'm not this high level computer scientist like I mentioned on the podcast all the time. I'm an artist. I'm an expressionist, and sometimes the kind of the technical conversations and the professional and the corporate feeling drags me down a little bit. So I'm all aboard that vibe that you're sharing about. You know, you're here as if it's like a music festival, or rather you're going to be at X Day like a music festival.
Exactly.
That sounds like a fun time. And yeah, man. I'm curious how you feel about X Day as it approaches. It seems like you're gonna buy EGLD and accumulate and stake EGLD kind of no matter what. But what are you feeling about X Day, and what are you most looking forward to?
Well, X Day, exactly that right there. X Day is just another music festival. It's just a more professional situation. I'm just gonna go show face for something to do with my time, to network with more people like you. And right now, I'm gonna go do some shipping for Biomethod. So I'm gonna end this call. Let's get this uploaded so I can get to marketing this, because that'll give me something to do with my time. And let's let the audience decide if we're worthy of being listened to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Were you wanting to get going right now, or did you want to dive into any other questions?
No, let's get going. How long is this video so far?
Let's see. We started about maybe, let's see what time it is. We're looking at about 40 minutes, 40 minutes or so.
Yes. Are you kidding me? This is great timing. I thought we were going for like 2 hours.
Yeah, we have a lot more other things that we could dive into.
Okay, one more question, and then I'm gonna go.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, last question.
Because look at this. Because look, this is the shampoo that I'm gonna launch after. Oh, when the price of EGLD goes up, I'm investing probably like $300,000 into Biomethod. Sean's was more famous than the MultiverseX guy. This MultiverseX guy is getting famous out of nowhere, and he's an executive producer of a movie already. The Benny guy that I pushed his buttons and he fucking blocked me because I'm being a dick. I mean,
no, we didn't talk about this at all. How about can we hear just a little bit about what happened between you and Beniamin? And the final question I can ask.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, ask.
Well, I'm going to ask because I am going to be asking every guest that I have on the podcast this season. But I'm going to save that. So I have one final question. But the second question, we mentioned before we pressed record here that you were blocked by Beniamin, which is the CEO of MultiverseX, and you said that you're going to go to X Day and you're going to apologize. So what happened? What were you just trolling on Twitter? Were you talking crap? Like, how did you get Beniamin to block you, James? What did you do?
So basically, I it's hard for me to understand what trolling means, but trolling probably counts. But I've been asking him to block me for several years, because I know that what he does is that he blocks people that I don't think are worth being blocked. And I think it's wrong that he's blocking people that are innocent. Now, I'm not aware if they are innocent, but they're people that I talk to, people that never say anything mean to me. So then, like, I think because I think that he's being a little too aggressive, I'm just saying, like, fucking block me too. I'm like, take me down too.
You've told me you've told me to block you, so I don't know if it's the same sort of feeling.
Yeah, because I'm not afraid of being blocked since I was hit in the back of the head. Like, it takes a lot to hurt my feelings, but I didn't even know he blocked me. And then when I found out he blocked me, it did kind of hurt my feelings because I happen to love him as a brother because he happens to be an executive producer of a movie. When I don't watch movies, and that looks like a movie I will go watch, especially when I'm in Bucharest, I'll probably go see that movie and I'm going to be really pissed that I did this when I have no regrets of the words I say. And I might actually regret asking him to block me because he happens to be a great human being. He made one of the best blockchains when Cardano was a better blockchain when he showed up. He showed up and it was just a fucking idea. It just was called ERD. It's all he even did these videos. He did these videos on YouTube and he's like, hey, this is just an idea, you guys. This is just an idea. And I didn't even invest into it. And so a lot of these American whales invested into his idea and it took the price up really high. The funny thing is now that this is a finished product and now that this is one of the best blockchains, where are the whales now? Where is the big American money? I don't know. I have no clue. So this conference is going to be a chance for big money to come back because that's what big money does. Is big money does not fuck around. Big money shows up when there's big money to be made.
Yeah, that does really surprise me. I mean, it's maybe just this idea, this concept of whenever you're too close to something, you really lose perspective on it. And I would definitely classify myself as too close to MultiverseX and especially the cryptocurrency Web3 industry altogether. To me, I'm definitely in the boat if it's not partially obvious by now, especially if you know viewers out there, if you know James and I, you know, we're pretty bullish on the idea. But it blows my mind that right now how much money could buy you how much of EGLD and how much reliable passive income you can receive by staking. And to me, that's what revolutionized my approach to investing. Was whenever I was in the working world, working 9 to 5, I worked for Elon Musk. I was a salesperson selling Tesla cars and their solar products here in San Francisco. And I quit Tesla when I went to work, and I had made more money that day from staking EGLD than I was going to make for the full day of work. And I remember being in the bathroom, just kind of like looking at these staking rewards that I could claim and I could cash out right now. And it's like, I'm here at work and I've already made my kind of share of money for today. And that really changed my whole outlook on life for the better, but also for the worse at some times, because I feel like I lost a great amount of desire to contribute to society, because so much of our society is you get a job, you contribute, and you get that paycheck. And I didn't care to get a paycheck anymore. I had accumulated lots of EGLD because I was so bullish on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency since 2017. By the time I got to the place where the market had appreciated and my portfolio was no longer underwater, to me, it felt like I was already so greedy, even after a bit of appreciation. So whenever the bull market really kicked off and my portfolio value went to, you know, 6 figures and to 7 for a little bit there, it disgusted me. And whether it be a subconscious or just a conscious thing that I did, you know, I threw money into NFTs, I gave money away on Twitter, I fueled different ways. And basically I'm in a place right now where I'm actually quite excited that I am low on funds, because to me, that's kind of like re-engaging my brain, which has always been geared towards what can I do for people? And naturally, when you do good things for people, in today's, capitalism and so forth, it's kind of expected that you're going to get you're going to get paid for that, or some sort of monetary compensation, or gifts or something like that. And so I'm not driven by that paycheck. That's just what happens whenever you do give good things and do good services to people. And whenever I had too much money, whenever Eagle was performing so well, I lost a part of me because of that weird, deep feeling of oh, I don't need to make that paycheck. And I'm excited that I need to make more money, because that brings me back to that entrepreneurial mindset, that idea of what do people need in the world, and what can I offer myself as to really just make the world a better place.
This is a great conversation to have, and this is a great conversation to end on, is that the whole point of this blockchain is to break you free, which is what Andrew Tate is marketing, is breaking free. But yet he's still kind of marketing the old system of like, sign up for my website, pay me $50, and I'm going to teach you to break free. No. Guys like you and I, Steven, I'm paying people to break free, because that's how the staking works. Is staking is like, we're getting passive income. And that's how you started this conversation, is you started making more money than what your paycheck at Tesla was giving you. And Elon Musk is the wealthiest guy. Elon Musk should be talking about this, and he's not. So he either is going to talk about it or he's not. Either way, we're going to do it first.
Yeah.
Which means he will talk about it eventually.
All right, so James, the last question I have for you, and then I'll let you get running here. And this is the question that I'll be asking each and every one of my guests on the Multiverse Experience podcast. And it is, in your perspective, in your belief system or view of cryptocurrency and Web3, what is the multiverse?
Wow. The multiverse. The multiverse is an ecosystem. It's a blockchain. First of all, it's a blockchain.
And you're defining that, because I'm not asking what is Multiverse X. I'm asking you, what is the multiverse? Kind of. So I'm asking you.
Oh, wait, the definition of the word multiverse.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit it's kind of sets you up to talk about blockchain, but that's kind of the nature. I want to see where people kind of go with it. So what is the multiverse? I'm asking you to.
I don't even know what the multiverse is. Okay, so that's I'm glad you broke down the question to me. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what the multiverse is, because like it's a lot of things to me, because I'm flowing with the Multiverse X. Man, I don't know what the multiverse is, because I know what the universe is, but the multiverse. Oh, I guess the multiverse is like, I guess it's a scientific understanding that there's multiple universes.
Nice.
Right? Isn't that why it's called multiverse? Because isn't there in science, there's supposed to be the understanding that we're not in a universe, but we're in multiple universes?
Yeah, and I mean, whether I'm just extrapolating it to something that I'm more passionate about, which is music, that's kind of almost how I broke it down at the beginning, was, multi-verse. And, what is a verse? Whether it's a verse of a song or of a written piece of literature, what is a verse? It's like a verse, it's going to tell a story, and multiple verses, it's multiple stories. And of course, if you are examining it within the context of one written work, the verses all together will create a whole story, will create a whole narrative. But again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that's the mission really behind that question. What is the multiverse? Because wow, what is that word to you and all these other guests that I'll have and have had on the show? And it's just something to kind of ponder over and consider, especially when it brings into the relevancy of multiverse to the power of X, aka previously called Elrond network. So yeah, any other comments?
No.
All right, and we'll end it there. Cool, James. Well,
that's a wrap.
It is a wrap. Thank you so much for your time. I know that everybody out there on the interwebs will be excited to see you and I just having a conversation together. I'm kind of assuming that our followers, we have at least a few hundred mutual followers. So it's been really special to share this time with you and firsthand experience just your perspective and some of your philosophies, dude.
Thank you so much. So also I want to end with what the love I share with everyone is called infinite love. I'm sure that's going to be scientifically proven with the multiverse.
That's beautiful. Well, last thing, I'll roll out the red carpet for you. Is there anything you want to direct the audience to, whether it be your Twitter or any other social medias or things that you want to give a shout out to before we get going?
Okay, I'm King Jimmy C on Instagram and on Twitter, and Biomethod is the shampoo business that I'm selling a product with Sean Kristen.
Beautiful. Well, thank you again, St. James, King Jimmy C. Make sure to give him a follow. Watch his videos, reply to his videos, repost his videos, because he's got a great message if you didn't just witness that today. This has been the Multiverse Experience Podcast, aka The Healing Journey Part 2 with St. James, King Jimmy C. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.